KHZ Network plays on WAMD Aberdeen, WKHZ Easton, WYRE Annapolis, Baltimore, and on KHZTV.com.
And it's 8:30 on the East Coast, and welcome to a brand new program, Christian Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center located at 2310 Churchfield Road in Bel Air, Maryland. That's in Hartford County. Now, your host, Michelle Christman.
Good morning and welcome to Wake Up to Wellness. I'm so excited to be here today. This is a brand new path to empower you to be healthy and well naturally, so you can do everything you can to begin to look for great ways to take care of not only you, but your whole family. I'm so excited to be here, and I want to go over, what is Wake Up to Wellness? Wake Up to Wellness is a brand new show that's coming on every Saturday, 8:30 to 9, and we're going to be talking about not only how to take care of your family healthy and well naturally, great ways to learn how to eat very good foods to nourish your body, and also to think about this. What if you moved your body? Movement is life. And also, how do you think? At the end of the day, oftentimes I believe that Americans spend their time going through life and ending up one day in a place where they sometimes say to themselves, God, you know what? How did I get there? And what we're really talking about is how can you set your life up and your health up so that you win? And that's what Waking Up to Wellness is about. So why listen to me? My husband's Dr. Evan Christman. He's a wellness chiropractor. I'm a chiropractic assistant registered in the state of Maryland, and my husband and I have been in practice in Bel Air, Maryland, in Hartford County for the last 13 years. It's been such an exciting adventure. What's most amazing about this is my husband and I met when I was 14 and he was 16 years old. We met when we were at John Carroll High School, again in Bel Air, Maryland, and it was one of those, you get sort of tingles down your spine type deals. We met years later after he graduated from chiropractic college. And I'm going to start to tell you just a little bit about that because it's such an interesting story. And then we're going to talk about a gorgeous little girl here to my left. Her name's Lauren. And Lauren has been such an inspiration for my husband and I throughout not only our practice but our life. She's been one of those people that, not only changes the way you do things and think, but also, she gets into your heart. And so I'm grateful and thankful for her to be here, and then also her wonderful parents, which I love too, Mark and Maureen. So the beginning portion of Dr. Christman and myself. Literally, as I said, we both graduated from John Carroll in Bel Air, Maryland. What's also exciting about this is my husband went to University of Maryland, where he studied kinesiology, which is the study of the human movement. He also went to Logan College of Chiropractic in St. Louis, Missouri, where he graduated there in 1996. And then he met me again. We met, it was 13 years ago. I can't believe it. But what's exciting about this is that for me, my education, I went to Villa Julia in Stevenson, Maryland. It's now Stevenson College. We also ended up, when we met, it was one of those love at first sight type things. I went to chiropractic assistant school in the state of Maryland, and it was because of Lauren. I'll start to talk to you about Lauren. Lauren is one of these, as I said, amazing little girls that just sticks in your heart forever. We ended up meeting Mark. Mark came to our practice. Mark, do you mind telling us how you met us and what was the whole purpose for you coming to see us?
Well, I started coming to see you for issues I was having.
Okay.
Obviously, my back, and I wanted to start feeling better for myself.
Yeah.
I guess that was about 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I was referred to you by a friend.
Okay.
So, here we are.
That's awesome. And so, Lauren, what's exciting about this is, we started seeing you when you were about 3 years old.
Yeah.
And so what I would love to know is, what was it walking into a wellness chiropractor's office? What were you thinking?
Well, I didn't remember a lot of it.
Okay.
Because I was only 3.
Yeah.
But I wasn't as nervous as I was at my other doctors.
Okay.
I was having a lot of fun. I was comfortable. and it just made me feel at peace.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I remember the day that you walked in and, you just commanded the room. It was just so amazing. And so tell me, through chiropractic, what changes did you see early on in your care through Dr. Christman?
Well, I did start to see my steroids coming down.
Okay.
And I was off my oxygen for a couple of years.
Oh, wow. Wow,
So
that's awesome.
that was, like, full on, all right.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And so, how has that changed your life? Having a chiropractor that, takes care of you. And, we come, what is it, about once a week that we come by?
Once a week.
And you tell them, you have an adjusting table in your own home?
Yeah, and it actually does help. Like, once he gets that spot, it's just like, thank you
Yeah.
for getting that.
Yeah. And what's so exciting about being adjusted, and we're going to start to talk about this in a later show, but being adjusted, literally the research shows us through Dr. Ronald Perot that it boosts your immune system by over 200% competency when people are being adjusted over a long period of time. And that stuff is priceless, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Because right now we are all talking about, staying away from germs and,
Yeah.
constantly sort of fighting things off. But the reality is, if your immune system functions at a higher level of health and vitality, then doesn't it make sense that you would function at a higher level of health too?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
So tell me, is there anything that you can think of that you think that other people should be getting adjusted, whether it be newborns, children, family, like, your whole family gets adjusted? Why do you guys do that?
It helps boost our system
Mm-hmm.
and gets us moving a lot more actively.
Yeah,
And, it's just amazing to see.
it
'Cause
is.
First, you're just like, kind of like, I don't want to do anything. But once you get adjusted, you're like, let's just do something. And it just
Yeah.
gets you boosted right back up.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So tell me, for most of you don't know that this little girl, she wants to be a superstar. And I believe she's already a superstar. And so you're into acting. Tell me
Yes,
about that.
Very much. Well, I first started acting. Well, I don't know when I started acting, but I've been in a lot of plays, and I've just enjoyed it so much that I just want to keep going with them. I've been acting, dancing, and someday I actually want to be on TV.
That would be fabulous.
And I did an acting modeling talent competition
Oh, wow.
in Florida, and I won 3 awards for it, and I got signed by an agent.
Oh, wow.
We couldn't really do much of it
Yeah.
because of transportation
Right.
and all my other issues that I
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
But that was just a really big step into the acting career
Yeah.
for me. But
So you're a star on the rise,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time with me. Is there anything you want to finish with? Let anybody know about taking care of themselves naturally or their health?
if you want to get better, come see the Christman family.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you. And what's exciting about this is that not only can we help you move forward in your health, but I have a whole network of chiropractors throughout the whole entire world. We over time have actually been awarded some amazing awards, which we're going to start to talk about in a little bit. But we're going to take a quick break. I want to say I'm so grateful and thankful for you, Lauren, and thank you, Mark and Maureen. You guys are great, and I'm going to look forward to just having you in my life forever, right?
Yes, hopefully.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will be back.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan R. Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences, Dr. Evans treats people of all ages, newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take the first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center, at 410-734-4060, and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060.
right, so we are back, and I'm so excited to be here. Right now, we're going to start to talk about what is health and how would you know if you are healthy and well. And for many people, health is something that eludes them. What's very interesting about this is many people, we were born with health. And we end up walking through our life taking health for granted. And what we're going to start to talk about is how can you be healthy and well naturally, and where does health come from? And I brought a really great chart. It's called your central nervous system. And how many of you know what a central nervous system is? For many people, I'm often told that they have no idea. They've heard about it, but they're not certain. And for others, they'll tell me the exact answer. And so essentially, this is your central nervous system. Literally controls every single organ, tissue, and cell in the body. This was the first organ created when you were conceived. It's actually called the neural streak. So if this was the first organ created when you were conceived, how important this is to your health. This is where health is coming from. It's not only so important to your health, but it's also protected by bone. Is bone. This is your spine. It has 24 movable vertebrae. Its job is to protect and preserve this central nervous system and also for structural stability. At the end of the day, this central nervous system is so amazing. It literally controls every single organ, tissue, and cell in the body. Here's your brain. It sends the signal down to your central nervous system, out to your paraspinal nerves, to every single organ, tissue, and cell, and back up to the brain again. It's a big cycle. And when this cycle is able to do its job, you get to function at a high level of health and vitality, and you get to be the absolute best you could possibly be. In today's world, we come upon many stresses, and stresses are those things that turn this central nervous system energy off. And there are three types. There's physical, chemical, and emotional. And what happens is that for many people, what they miss is that there are good stresses and there are bad stresses. Good stresses are wonderful, and we all need them, like eating very good healthy foods, exercising, and having a fabulous life, and most importantly, being adjusted by your wellness chiropractor. That's the foundation of wellness. A negative physical stress are things such as sitting. Sitting does negative, detrimental things to your health, and you'll actually begin to see your spine wants to remain in proper alignment. Should be straight from the front, and on the side we should have these really nice curves. And imagine sitting all day long. This is what this does to your spine. How many hours are you sitting? For many people, they're sitting anywhere from 6 to 9 hours a day. They're then walking to their car, getting back into the car, and they go home, and what do? Make their meal, and they sit down again to relax. And so for most people, what we're beginning to see is our nation's becoming largely sedentary. And later on in one of our shows, we're going to start to talk about moving and exercising and how we can actually get you to move forward and be healthy and well naturally and add great things to your life. Another physical stress can be things such as fallings or accidents. It's amazing what happens when thousands of pounds come together and you're somewhere in between when you're in a car accident. Chemical stresses are things such as the foods that we're eating. You know, if you go and you look at the foods that are being produced nowadays, there's more hormones, antibiotics, pesticides, and insecticides in them than you'd even like to eat. Chemical stresses are also medications, whether they're prescribed or not, vaccines, flu shots, and we're going to have a really great workshop about that one day, sometime soon on our radio show, so you can start to see how that's natively creating sickness and problems within your health. And for many people, they oftentimes think these things produce health. Cleaning supplies in your homes, huge negative stress to your central nervous system. Emotional stresses are the next portion. Emotional stresses are huge. And for many people, you'll notice in today's economy, so many people are stressed. You'll go out to the grocery store or to your local neighbor and say, hey, how are you doing today? And they say, oh man, I'm not doing so great. Financially, we're stressed. Emotionally, we're stressed because we're having relationship problems. Maybe we have a great friend that we love, but there's always something wrong and they're constantly telling us about it. What about work stress? So physical, chemical, and emotional stresses, these all build up over your lifetime. It's an accumulation of these stresses that create what I call the straw that broke the camel's back. And what happens over time is your health has no other choice but to start to break down. And through the power of that chiropractic adjustment, and chiropractors are the ones that are educated on this, that literally we restore your health in your life so that central nervous system can properly send the signal to the brain, to the body, and back again. And all your organs, tissues, and cells get to do their job. And the body gets to function at their most optimal level of health and vitality. And so I'm so grateful and thankful to be able to give you this awesome information. It can flat out save your life. And there's a lady we're going to be interviewing later on that literally will tell you how chiropractic has saved her life. And her name is Terry, and she's absolutely amazing. And she went on to work at a chiropractor's office and actually help thousands of people's health and life as well. And we're going to go to a commercial break. And I want to really say that I'm so excited to be here. This is Wake Up to Wellness every Saturday morning at 8:30, and I'm going to look forward to speaking with you in a minute and talk to you soon.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan R. Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences, Dr. People of all ages, newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take the first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center, at 410-734-4060 and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060.
Hi, and welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness. I'm so excited to have you guys here. And I want to talk to you a little bit about emergency care. And for many people, emergency care literally is life-saving. My dad's a volunteer fireman, and he's literally been on the volunteer fire company scene for the last 56 years. And see, I grew up knowing what an emergency was and what an emergency wasn't. For many people, their health has turned into an emergency. Every little thing that goes on with their health, they're thinking that something's wrong. And we're talking about what health really is. And health comes from within inside. We were all born to be healthy and well naturally. And we just got done talking about the stresses, physical, chemical, and emotional, and how they create detrimental effects to your health and vitality. And what's amazing about being adjusted is that your body is actually able to function at a higher level of health so that you get to be well naturally. And what's so exciting about this is that through this time frame, with having such an amazing dad teaching me those lessons, what I want to begin to talk to you guys about is how would you know if you're well? And for most people, they don't realize that your central nervous system, that the nerves are actually comprised into three parts. There's a sensory nerve, there's a motor nerve, and there's an autonomic nerve. And for many people, they think that how they feel is a great indication of their health. But have you ever gone to a wonderful, family reunion or maybe a wedding, and you run into Uncle Joe? And Uncle Joe's somebody that you haven't seen for maybe 5, 10, 15 years, but the last time you saw him, you say to yourself, man, you know what? He didn't look so hot. But you see him this time around, and he looks great. And you go up to Uncle Joe and you say, hey, how do you feel? You look fabulous. And he says, God, you know what, man? I'm exercising. I'm watching my food. I'm doing everything I can to be healthy and well. I feel great. I feel better than I felt when I was 18 years old. And what happens 2 weeks later after you leave Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe, you end up finding out, you're right, dies of a massive heart attack. And so for most people, because they asked him, how do you feel? And he said, well, I'm well. They think that that's a true indication of health. But the reality is that's not how health functions at all. The sensory nervous system is very amazing. There's 10% of your sensory nerves, and they perceive pain. 90% of your nerves are motor and autonomic, and they do not perceive pain. So the body is constantly adapting, healing, and dealing with the physical, chemical, and emotional stresses from your lifetime. And when that occurs, those motor and autonomic nerves can't handle the stresses anymore at some point. And if you were like me as a kid, I used to actually sit on one of those seesaws where you would sit on one side and the other side would come up if there was just enough pressure and weight. Well, that's what happens with those nerves. And at a certain point, when it can't handle the stresses anymore, that seesaw pops up and the symptom begins to trigger the sensory nerve. The sensory nerve, remember again, perceives 10% of pain. So what happens is by the time you guys get pains, symptoms, and body breakdowns, literally those problems, those underlying health problems have been there for a very long period of time. And what we all start to think to ourselves is that if we feel well, we're fine. But that's such a huge contradiction to health. And the reality is how you feel has nothing to do with your accurate representation of where you stand. And in our practice, in many chiropractic offices throughout the world, we use equipment called the Millennion Subluxation Station. And this is state-of-the-art technology, and it's certified through the NASA Space Shuttle Center. And CLA makes it. It's called Chiropractic Leadership Alliance. And I remember the first day that my husband and I went to one of our friends' offices in Delaware. His name was Dr. Trent Camp. Dr. Trent was absolutely amazing. He welcomed us in open arms into his practice. You'll notice in most doctors' offices, when you go into their offices, they're kind of cold. They're sterile. They've got that glass door over top. But you'll notice when you walk into a wellness chiropractor's office, you almost feel at home. Everybody knows your name. The doors are open up wide, and you almost feel like this is the right place to get the care that you need. And, you know, even though my husband's a wellness doctor, and I've been in practice with him for over 13 years, seeing thousands of people, this was a place where we walked into and felt at peace. He sat down and he took pictures of the central nervous system, and I'm going to explain this equipment to you because it's so amazing. This equipment literally can show us how the stresses from your lifetime, physical, chemical, and emotional, have stained that central nervous system, and how the muscles are pulling against and starting to show a breakdown in your health and vitality. And I'm going to actually start to bring in equipment so you can start to see what that looks like. Very amazing. But I remember seeing color. And what we want to see is all white. All white with a really nice bell curve shape means that the body is able to function. It's able to heal at 100% and adapt. Color, red, yellow, blue, green, and black mean that the stresses from your lifetime have stained your central nervous system, and it has allowed your health to slowly break down. Those colors, oftentimes, they show us what's happening. It's the underlying cause of the problem. If you ever saw an iceberg, right, the Titanic hit an iceberg, but the top portion of that iceberg was a small portion. Underneath, it was big. And see, this is what I'm talking about with how you feel. You know, oftentimes people will take the top surface portion and they forget that underneath is this huge, big, bulbous iceberg that they're about to crash into. And for many people, the first sign of sickness is death. So why would you want to fool around with that? So if you go backwards into Dr. Trent's office, we have this central nerve system picture taken. So absolutely amazing. It's showing us what's really happening, what's the underlying cause of your health, and what's really going on with your health problems. And through this begins to show us a mapped out chart of where your health really is. And that's what we do in our practice. We take a picture of that central nervous system to show you what's going on, the underneath hidden health problems. And Dr. Christman and I ended up buying this equipment. And gosh, I got to tell you, it was one of the most amazing turning points, not only in our life, but in our practice. Because this was a tool that was enabling us to show our practice members what was really happening to their health. And what's exciting about this is that when you have such high-tech technology, and you also have two individuals that love what they're doing and have spent the last 13 years doing everything they can to educate and to empower people to be well, what you get is a recipe for the community to not only be healthy and well naturally, but to thrive. And so I'm so excited to be able to share this path with you guys. And I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And I just want to thank you. We'll be back in a quick moment.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan R. Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences, Dr. Evans treats people of all ages, newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take the first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creative wellness center, at 410-734-4060, and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060.
So welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness from 8:30 to 9. I'm so excited to be here. We are going to start to wrap it up. And I want to let you know that if you want to contact Dr. Christman and myself in our practice, our number is 410-734-4060. That's 410-734-4060. And our website is www.restorelifeflow, that's FLOW.com, and that's restorelifeflow.com, and we are in Bel Air, Maryland. We've been so grateful and thankful to see so many wonderful people throughout our time frame. You know, we focus on newborns, pregnant women, families, and our big place that, God, we love to see our children with learning differences and autism. And that's something we've been taking care of these children for a very long time. I want to leave you with a quick story before we end of a 3-year-old little girl that we saw. Came in, she wasn't able to barely speak. She mumbled and her balance was off, meaning that she couldn't walk more than about 5 steps. She'd fall over. After 6 adjustments from my husband, Dr. Christman, she was able to speak clearly and also not only walk, but got on her little bike with training wheels and rode it for over an hour, better than her 7-year-old sister. And so, see, these are the changes of chiropractic.